to this special World Radio Day episode where we explore this year's theme. AI is a tool, not a voice. Today, we have fraycollege facilitator Desmond Latham, who will be unpacking how artificial intelligence can support radio without replacing the human connection at its heart, and what this means for broadcasters, storytellers, and listeners across the continent. Our first question is, why is radio important for Africa, and how can AI help enhance what radio does for many Africans?
Well, radio is very important in Africa because of the cost of bandwidth and data in the continent. So radio still remains one of the cheapest forms of information transfer. Second reason is language. People hear information in their own languages, and it's highly receptive and more effective to have news and information services that are in your own language. And the third reason is because of the extent and reach of radio and the experience of running radio systems. So those are the three main reasons. AI can help enhance radio in a number of ways. Firstly, scripting, where you can improve scripts. Secondly, translations. The AI and artificial intelligence is much improved and works fairly well on translations. The third is data, crunching data, being able to take vast amounts of information, converting it into something reasonable, and writing more simply in English or whatever language you're using.
Many digital and AI tools are designed mainly for English and Western contexts. How can African radio stations maintain cultural nuance and authentic local storytelling while using AI tools?
I think stations should try and find local laboratories or universities that are dealing with AI in the computer science department or in the science department generally. So build a relationship with a local institution of some sort to understand AI and to work more effectively with entities like that. The second thing is to feed back to ChatGPT and others when you sense a weakness. For example, we found that in GarageBand, which is an Apple product, a sequencer, an audio sequencer, we found that it does not do the clicks of browser very well. It reads it as noise. So we're feeding back to Apple saying that they need to deal with this issue. And that's a typical example of a Western application not being able to cope with an African sound.
With the launch of a fully AI-powered radio station in Nigeria and the introduction of an AI radio personality by Heart FM in South Africa, do you think there is a risk of AI replacing human-led radio stations? In the context of the theme, AI is a tool, not a voice. How can community stations use AI without losing emotional connection and trust?
One of the big things about ethical issues in AI is that you should be telling the audience when you're using AI. And that's a profound principle, because if they discover that the presenter is not real, then the trust is gone. So it'll be very hard to get trust back. So what you should do is use it as an opportunity to say that no jobs have been lost, but you are going to use a presenter. And perhaps one of the other options that we have seen is that you introduce an AI presenter alongside a real presenter. So it turns into an interesting use of automated, computerized knowledge with real knowledge simultaneously. And that could be quite an interesting program to listen to.
A major concern with using AI is the risk of losing audience trust. What ethical challenges should African broadcasters be most aware of when using AI, particularly regarding misinformation, deepfakes, and cultural bias? How can stations maintain trust and accountability with their audiences?
One of the big things about ethical issues in AI is that you should be telling the audience when you're using AI. And that's a profound principle, because if they discover that the presenter is not real, then the trust is gone. So it'll be very hard to get trust back. So what you should do is use it as an opportunity to say that no jobs have been lost, but you are going to use a presenter. And
What
perhaps one of the other
opportunities
options
does
that
AI
we have
create for
seen is that you
innovation,
introduce an
creativity,
AI
and
presenter
sustainability in
alongside
radio
a real presenter. So
broadcasting?
it turns
How
into
can
a
community radio
interesting
stations
use of
use AI with
automated,
limited resources to
computerized
improve production,
knowledge
outreach,
with
and
real
community
knowledge simultaneously.
engagement?
And that could be quite an interesting program to listen to. The big innovations in AI, in particular at the moment, are code writing. So radio stations can design their own specific rundown systems using their own coding principle. Hiring a code writer to work in conjunction with your team will then actually code your rundown system designed specifically for your radio station.
Thank you,
in your
Desmond
language.
Latham,
So
for your
I think
insights.
that's one of the big
If you
opportunities
enjoyed
is
this
to use the
episode,
coding
share it with your
facilities
network
in
and
AI to
continue the
code your own
conversation
website,
on how
rundown
we can
systems,
use AI
accounting
responsibly
system
in
even,
media
produce
and
your own digital
storytelling.
products based on the fact that you can now do it more simply using AI.